Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the I Got a Girl podcast. This is your host, Coach Jackie, your freedom mentor, and I'm so excited to have this amazing woman on today. And we met, I don't know, it's going on like 3 years now, 3.5, 4 years, I think.
At least,
Um,
yeah.
right? I was part of me is like, did we meet on the Speaker's Playhouse? I was trying to think about that today, but however we met, I'm just glad we did. We got to spend time together at one of my retreats back in 2023, my very first retreat, which you experienced the initial crazy magic, very first one. And then ever since then, I've just had mad admiration. I was able to be on her podcast, which she'll tell you about. But let me hand it over to you, Marty, and just tell the world anything you want about your personal, professional life that you'd love them to know.
Well, thank you so much, Jackie. And I'm so glad we got to meet each other, know each other, and I loved your retreat. So excited about being on that one. So yeah, my name is Mardi Winder. I'm a strategic divorce consultant and high conflict divorce coach. And I am happily living I'm Canadian, but I live on a farm in Texas. And just really love doing life on my own terms right now. I went through a divorce. My second husband passed away in 2017. And since then, I have just really been really coming back to myself. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Love it. I love it. And when she says a farm, guys, it's like how it's horses, chickens, all the things. Like so, I told her I was like, oh, that was my dream, and then she's like, really? Let's talk about it. Like it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. We think, oh, the joy of just riding the horse in the wild, and then it's like, yeah, but you've got to care for them, take care of them, clean up after them, feed them, and like we said, it's hard to go on vacation when you have a whole farm, or on a trip. So welcome to the I Got a Girl podcast. So the I Got a Girl is that woman who, and it's funny because I say woman, but I've actually met some men who have gone through this too, and I'm like, I'm going to have some unique men on the podcast, and I'm excited to bring that in here, which is kind of funny. But it's where we've lived this life, usually from this place of survival that we learned at a young age. Like for me, my mom died at 5. So by 7, I was already figuring out how to cook myself and do laundry myself. And if I needed it done, I had to do it. I had to figure it out because my dad worked a construction company, was gone all the time. And so I really learned at a young age how to be fiercely independent. And that was through survival. Like, I was like, how am I going to survive and get to school? I'd have to figure out what bus to go on, which, by the way, I went on the wrong bus one time. It's kind of funny. Went to the wrong school. Did not realize that. And I was bawling in like 4th grade at the school. But, you become stronger with each thing, right? Um, and so, but there's a point in life when I realized that I was missing out on things like love and trust and joy. Joy, like I had joy, but I didn't have like what was true joy because I was in this place of fear and control, holding onto that wheel so tightly, not willing to let go of the control. And to even the point, which is kind of funny, it wasn't until year 7 actually that my husband fully loved me. About 6.5 years, 6.5, fully loved me and let me love him back. And then we got engaged after that. Like as soon as that like released and I let go of the control and allowed him to support me. So there's so many pieces that I'm recognizing amongst women's stories of where we are just so good at what we're doing, and yet we don't want to ask for help and all that other stuff. We want to just do it on our own. And it doesn't have to be that way. We don't have to do this thing alone. So when I say all that, what story rolls up for you in your life where you had to just kind of like hit a point where you're like, I gotta let go. Like I'm at like you just were in such control of what like I got it. I don't need any help. I'll carry 3 suitcases. I walk in the door, and open my own door. You don't need to help me. Where in life have you had to like just learn to let go?
Well, it's interesting because I think there's been a couple of spots. Um, I think the first big one really was I had a similar experience with my parents passing early, not as young as you with your mom, but so I was adopted and so was my sister. We always knew that. But both of my adoptive parents passed away before I was 20.
Mm.
And so that was a big thing and I didn't know how to ask for help then. And it took, I was in university, I was probably spending a little too much time enjoying the social side of university and not enough on the academic side for a while. And you know, it I had to kind of reach out, and I was lucky because one of the people that was close to our family sort of mentored me. And that was the first time where I had ever really said, "Hey,
Mm,
I realize I'm just spinning right now. I'm not moving forward. I'm not making any forward progress." So I got some help with from that professional, and although they were professional, they really helped me on a personal level to deal
mhm,
with loss. And because this was like this was 40 years ago, people didn't go to therapists like unless you really
right.
had a problem. And there was a real stigma around that then. So and I didn't feel that was right. So I didn't so getting that help was really beneficial. And then the second big shift was when I went through my divorce. I was up in Canada then. A lot of things happened in the divorce that were not positive experiences.
Mm,
And I reached out to my friends and my sister at that point, to really help me through that. And that was another big time where I was trying to keep it all bundled in. I was trying to work full time. I was doing things. I had a business. I was working for a school district. I had a side hustle on the side. And you're right, I was carrying like 20 suitcases and I didn't need help with anything. And all of a sudden it was like bam, I just hit a wall. And I was so
mm,
glad I had support. And I think that's one of the first times that I realized how helpful a group of women can be in
mhm,
really supporting and uplifting each other. And that really formed kind of the basis of why I got into the divorce coaching and supporting people who are who are going through really difficult time. But yeah, so I think those two times moving down to Texas, dealing with the illness and the death of my second husband, that was another time where I really reached out and made some big changes. And every time I've done it, I have said to myself, "Why did I wait so long to let
right.
go of that?" And just say, "Hey, I'm vulnerable right now. I need some help." Because every time people have come and supported me and just been amazing to me, and I'm hopeful that I'm able to return that favor to them in some way at some point in time.
Mhm. Mm, so good. And I love how clear and distinct, like you can see where those points were. And just a quick question about it. Like you had it at 20, then you had it after the first marriage, the divorce, and then you have it after the loss of your husband. And so did you feel, even though you waited, but did you feel that it got like a little easier to do each time or a little more like, okay, acceptable, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. Definitely. And now, like professionally, I'm in several masterminds and I've become, some of these women that I've interacted with in these masterminds supporting me on like a business side. I'm known now for 6, 7 years since like before COVID was around.
Hmm.
And it's really amazing because even though I maybe met them through that networking business relational kind of thing, we've developed a deep personal relationship where if I need something, I just text them now and say, "Hey, look, I need some help with this. I don't know, like what are your thoughts on this?" And getting advice from women is very different than getting told what to do in the mansplaining world. Like, you
Yes.
know, and
Yes.
I feel like with the people I know, like I can just go, "Hey, give me your thoughts on this." And if I go, "Well, thanks, I don't know that I'm going to do that." It's all good. No harm, no foul. Like nobody's
Yes.
upset that I'm not taking their advice because everybody's going to have a different perspective. And quite often, I take a little bit from you, Jackie, a little bit from somebody else, a little bit from somebody else, and you get this really comprehensive and very unique solution that you couldn't have ever come up with on your own.
Ah, it's so funny. Well, it's so funny that this is my podcast because I feel like I'm like, you could lead this. I'm just gonna let you because you're so good at the she's been doing it for years, guys. She's celebrating 200 and how many episodes on yours?
63 on mine. Yeah.
63. I
Yeah.
love it. I'm catching up, girl. As like I have my like 24th, I think, or something. Yeah.
That's
I'm like,
okay. You'll be there.
um, so here's what I love. Like there's a saying that I say after like almost every meeting I do with my group programs or anything that I'm take what you like and leave the rest. Like take what you like and leave the rest because there is really nothing new. Like there's
Right.
nothing new. But what's new is how like you just said, you described, I take it all and I package it like this little of this and a little, it's like making like your homemade sauce. Like everyone makes their sauce different, right? It's like this ingredient, this ingredient, this ingredient. And what's your recipe? What's your recipe? And I remember like being really cautious in the beginning of my business. So like, I don't want to, okay, I learned that I don't want to take their idea.
Right.
Well, that's not their idea. Like everybody, like everything, there's nothing new. So if we can really like let go again of because I got to reinvent the wheel, reinvent the wheel, reinvent the wheel. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Right.
Especially you
Right.
don't have to do this thing alone. So those are the 3 points I want to make sure people hear is one, take what you like and leave the rest of with all the noise that you hear. We have so much information highway is insane now with everything. But
Mm,
remember, please make it yours. Like, please bring it back down to what's true to you. Because if you are doing what someone else, like you said, mansplaining, I love that. If you're doing what someone else is telling you to do because they think you should do it, will feel great. Try it. But if it doesn't align with you, let it go
right.
or take what you like of it. The second one is that you don't have to do this alone. Oh my gosh. I remember feeling so badge of honor. I got this alone. Like I don't need
Yeah.
anybody's help. No, that is the ultimate trait of the I got it girl that we get to let go of. Because when I say the I got it girl, I'm not letting go of all the version of me from the past. I have mad respect for that 20-year-old, that 4-year-old, that 12-year-old. I have mad respect for all the stages of the version of me. But I wanted to live a more fulfilling life on my
Right.
terms, the way I want to align it. And that's what we're keeping the things of the I got it girl that we love and moving it forward. And then we're bringing in and letting go. We're bringing in people. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but since I've been in business and networking and meeting these women like you spoke about, I am closer to, I did 30 years in another industry. I am not close to anyone from that industry.
Yeah.
But the women that I've met, like you, we haven't talked in a long time, but I'm like, girl, let's catch up.
Yeah.
And I know I could call you at any time for anything and you'd still be there. And that's the kind of relationships you do when you get into this world of partnership and having other people help you. And it doesn't have to be just entrepreneurship, because I also work with employees and there's people in like the employment world. Just know that you don't have to do this alone.
Yeah, and I
Mm.
think the other so one thing you said that really resonated with me, Jackie, is the other thing is I don't own anything. Just like you said, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you do have something and somebody else is doing something similar, like it's not yours to protect and keep in a cave and only let certain people see it.
Mhm.
To me, like that was a big shift for me is that if somebody wants to copy what I'm doing, what is that saying? Imitation is the greatest form of flattery or whatever that
Yes.
saying is,
Uh-huh.
because if somebody wants to do something I'm doing, that must mean I'm doing it right, right? Somebody else wants to do it. And
Somebody loved it.
the other thing, like reaching out when people ask me questions now, well, how did you get a podcast going, or how do you do your summits, or how do you work with clients, or whatever? I share that information with them because I can give them the information. They still can't do it the same way I do it because
Mhm.
I'm me and everybody brings their own special sauce to the table. And so
Mhm.
we have to stop being so like, this is mine and you can't, these are my toys. You can't play with them, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's schoolyard stuff. We need to get rid of that. And I think if you're going to be an I got a girl, you need to be helping other women as well. I think that's
Mhm.
and men too, like helping other people, because if you're one of those information hoarders, that's you're going to get stuck behind that wall, and
Yeah.
you don't get the respect, you don't get the networking ability, you don't get the camaraderie, as if you're willing to say, hey, I tried this and it really worked for me, maybe you want to try that too, or here's an idea, just give it a try. That's the kind of stuff that rises to the surface, I think.
I agree. And there's so many pieces to that. There's the piece of like what you like give and you shall receive. Like that is a true thing that like energy goes one way. You might not get exactly from that person you just gave to, but then something else comes to you from another
Yeah.
place. And it's if you can just trust, like they're two separate receiving and giving and receiving are two separate like channels and they flow and just trust that like that. But the other, it's funny you say like, what, come on, did you ever work for corporate America previous to your business?
I work for corporate Canada. Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Corporate. That's right, Jackie.
That's
Get it
okay.
straight.
I worked
Okay.
for school district for many, many years, and then I also worked for a private industry. Yeah, in
Okay.
Canada. Yeah.
So what triggered me when you were saying the whole we hoard it, we this and that, I think that's a lot of we learn that in our jobs, in our corporations and stuff. I did restaurant industry for 30 years and I worked for a bunch of companies, great leaders in different capacities. But yeah, it was like you didn't want your secrets to get out and
Yeah.
you wanted to make sure the guy across the street didn't know how to make the best sandwich because if they're opening up and you're this, and so you kind of like have this. And my philosophy as a manager and a leader for the different companies was I always wanted to promote people. I always wanted to develop people and promote them to the next level. And I always got questioned by my fellow managers, why do you take your best people and get rid of them? I was like, I'm not getting rid of them. I'm promoting them. I'm giving them more opportunity to the next level. They're like, yeah, but then you lose your best person and then you got to work harder to train the next person to fill the hole to run your restaurant or run your Starbucks or whatever it was that I was working for. And I said, yeah, I said, but why should they suffer? Like, it didn't make compute in my brain because I've always been the type that you described. I've always
Right.
now you say that I'm like, yeah, that's how I was my whole life. And there were so many people that were like, I hold my people. Well, they're going to quit. They will
Right.
quit. And my people never quit. They were always finding more opportunity, more growth, more opportunity, more growth. So I had the best turnover. They're like, but you keep promoting people out and having to start over. And I'm like, but that's why they're all like, I have people all over the country that worked for me because I kept promoting them and moving them out. So I think we get this culture of hold on to your things and don't let anyone see it from that job world. And I think one of the biggest shifts you've got to make if you're going to go from employee to entrepreneur, you got to let go of the philosophies you learned as an employee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you've got to learn how to work with people and like really like give and receive and give and receive. And like you said, and not have to be afraid that someone's going to like take your job away or take your thing away. Yeah, like you
Right.
said, this is playground stuff.
Yeah. Well, and it's even like it's even like people are so worried about, well, AI is going to take my job or, whatever. No, it's not.
No,
Don't
it's
worry
not.
about it. It's no different than learning how to, do voice recognition on a computer. That didn't wipe out all the secretarial jobs in the world.
Right.
You know?
Humans are
Um,
still needed.
yes, yes, definitely. And you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Jackie.
Yeah. So you went into when you said you lost your husband, your second husband, let me make sure I get that right. Your second husband, and then you learned even more how to reach out. So let's talk about the personal side of things because we talk about the business and how we have networking groups. But another topic that's come up with a bunch of women that I've been chatting with is like as we get older, I feel it's harder, quote unquote, to like find that connection, that community, if you're not like in networking and building a
Yeah,
business, but like how do you make friends like
yeah.
outside of just your business connections? And so how did you create a community at that point um that were like for your personal needs?
Yeah, and so I live on a farm, so it's a very small rural area. So it's not like a big city. There isn't a local Starbucks or there isn't um you know, there really isn't any place where people kind of gather. Well, I mean,
Mm,
there's church groups and there's things like that. But one of the things that I found is aligning myself, like knowing who I am and what I value and what I want to represent in the world. And then finding ways to support other people and to work with other people and to get involved with other people. So here's a really good example. One of the first things I did at 55 when my second husband passed away was I thought I need to start exercising again. I'd been his caregiver for 8 years. I wasn't super
mm.
healthy. I didn't do a lot of stuff. And all of a sudden, for some reason, I got this wild idea. I'm going to start doing yoga. Okay, you got to understand, not a yoga chick here. I used to play women's hockey. I played women's rugby for many years,
I didn't know this.
softball,
I
baseball,
love it.
super competitive, right? So I'm going to the yoga class, and the very first thing the lady says is, okay, she did some flexibility stuff with me. She goes, "Oh, you're pretty flexible," and I'm like, "Okay." thank you, I guess. And then, the instructor says to me, you might notice that when you're doing like a down dog and we're doing hip openers, I'm like, I don't even know what the heck she's talking about. But she goes, you might find that you release a lot of emotion and you may start to cry because you carry your emotion in your body. And I'm like, oh my God, come on. Like,
What did I sign? Please, lady,
and
what
I
do I sign
started
up for?
I started crying, Jackie. I
Ugh,
never have had that
love
experience. It was just like this flood of just emotion and grief and release. And it was like, good thing they're dark in yoga studios, right? You can't see what's going on. And so, it was such an amazing experience. And I just felt really like I could talk to these people. So I talked to several of the women. So I find that for me, my people are the people I tend to associate are people that like that. So I do yoga at a little local studio here. There's only like 7 or 8 of us that go. It's not really a studio, it's a room above a
Love
weightlifting
it.
gym. But hey, so I find getting involved in things like that. I do classes. Take some classes at the community college.
Mhm.
I do events in the community if I've got dogs. So if they're doing like a dog walk, I take my dog, we, go walk, and I do some volunteer work. And I think one of the things that I think is important is don't limit yourself. Like, try new things that maybe are outside of your comfort zone. I don't really like that word, but if you've never gone to, like, joined a book club, give it a shot.
Mhm.
Go to the
Mhm.
book club. They usually have really good wine at the book clubs I've been to, and they have
Yes, they
cookies and all
do.
kinds of fun stuff. So,
Snacks and
um,
drinks.
yeah, try something new. And if you don't like it, it's okay. But if you don't ever try anything new, then you really can't complain that you're not feeling like you're involved in things. So the older I
Yes.
get, the more comfortable I am. I go by myself to things. If there's a new restaurant that opens, nowhere close, but far away, if I decide to, make a day trip and go there, I go and I'm happy. I enjoy the time. I talk to people while I'm there. And,
Mhm.
just I think that's the thing. We have to get secure in who we are and then just explore what do
Mhm.
we like doing and what do we not like doing. That's important to know too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so important. And so I have a client who's building her coaching business, and it's all about what do you do in retirement kind of thing, because people do this whole work, 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 work. Okay, now what do I do with my life, right? And
Right.
she like the what's next, what's now. And so if you can start that now, like the advice that Marty just gave, like you start like doing that now, especially like moms with kids who are about to be college age and go away and get on their own, like they're lost. Like they're
Yeah.
like, what's my identity now?
Yeah.
Start doing those things that are separate from the people you met through your kids, separate from the people that you met through your job. Like try to like common interests. And what's kind of funny is that those common interests end up leading people into your business, which is kind of funny, you know? So that's your
Well,
networking.
yeah, and I was going to say, as an entrepreneur, um, I think I don't see anything like any distinction in many ways between people I've known for years who do like because as most entrepreneurs, I do more than one thing. And
Mhm.
so, some of the people that I've known as say mediators for the last 20 plus years I've been in Texas. I consider them my personal friends as well. We may have
Mhm.
started out as business friends, but we become, personal friends as well. And the other thing is I don't ever plan on retiring. I love
Right.
what I do. I love coaching. And I actually think as I get older, I've got more tools, more strategies, more life experience that can be beneficial to my clients. And
Mhm.
so I don't see this whole urge to retire. I don't get that. But for me, yeah, just staying busy doing things. I'm
Mhm.
I'm working on book number 3 right now. And so whatever you do that brings you joy, do more of.
Yes. Amen to that. Um, so, uh, it's kind of funny because I always say, build a life that you love like build a retirement life that you love and you're exploring and you're experiencing now, make money doing it. That's
Yeah.
kind of my philosophy. So, and that's very similar. And I'm the same. Like, oh my gosh, the clients that I've had that either aren't clients, but like, we're just so close. Like to the day we die, it'll be like, and the people I've met in the business too. Okay, so you mentioned, so we're talking about the books that you've done and how you've been like, with the moderators that you've worked with for the last 20 years. So let's talk about what you do now. How did you get to what you're doing now, into what you're doing now? Yes, you had a divorce, but was that what led you into working into this, or was that what brought you to doing what you do now?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, it was certainly an experience that I didn't want other people to go through. But this was almost like 35 years ago when I had my divorce. So there really wasn't, well, 30 years ago anyhow. There certainly wasn't anything like a divorce coach.
Mhm.
Um and that's why I went into the family and divorce mediation. I mean, yeah, I've done that for the last 35 years. But one of the things that got me into the divorce coaching was when I first moved to Texas and got my green card. I was so excited about this. I went looking for my first job. I got hired by a nonprofit that did small C counseling services for families. And I had been worked in the school district as a behavioral consultant for many years. So I worked with a lot of school age families, helping them create better behavioral plans for their kids. And that led me into within the same organization, they had a domestic violence shelter and domestic violence coaching client advocate service. So I did the training and went and worked in the domestic violence side for, gosh, 6, 7 years, and really got to see, the really awful stuff that
Yeah.
both men and women experience in toxic abusive relationships. Then from there, I ended up going into executive and leadership coaching and did that very successfully for quite a number of years. And then all of a sudden, my clients started figuring out that I also did family and divorce mediation. And, a lot of people that are struggling in their workplace are having issues in all parts of their life,
Mhm.
including their relationships. So a lot of my clients found out that I was a mediator. So most of our coaching sessions turned into how to prepare for their divorce mediation sessions. And
Love.
so I just thought, well, if that's what people want, I went and did the training. And since 2015, I've been pretty much exclusively working with people going through divorce. So um, it's kind of a long, convoluted road how I got here, but I think everything that I've done has really helped me prepare for this, and this is where I plan on staying now.
Okay, so did you guys hear that? Everything she did led to where she is today. And remember that. And when you're in the middle of the journey, you're not quite sure why, or you're not like, why am I doing this? Or why is this happening? Like, just trust that it's all happening for us, because you can see, like, now hearing all of that, which I don't think I knew all of that, but hearing all of that, I'm like, wow, like I already knew you were qualified. Not that we need to be qualified. I mean, our experience alone and who we are, blah, blah, blah. But man, does she know a lot, guys. Like, the man, does she have a lot of experiences from like this one to this one to this one to this one, boom, that layers in how impactful you are for people because of, and my one coach does this exercise. She goes, do the because this happened exercise. Because you can always map back. You can go, because of this, because of this, because of this. And she starts back with like her grandparents, how her grandparents met, and because but this, and then they had my dad, and then boom, 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 boom. And she'll like bring, because it's magical and how we are here today doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Such a cool
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be with your professional life. It can cross over. So really quick,
Mhm.
one of the jobs I had when I was a behavior consultant up in Canada is I worked as a behavior consultant at a special children's program within a psychiatric hospital.
Mm.
And because of that, I ended up in going and doing some work with them on the brain injury unit. So I worked on the brain injury unit for quite a while. And a lot of it was speech and language work with brain
Mhm.
injured patients. And, everybody told me, why are you doing this? This has nothing to do with school districts. It has nothing to do. And I did a bunch of training and, certifications and all that kind of stuff. Lo and behold, in 2011, my husband had that massive stroke, and was not able to speak. And I was
Oh
able
my
to walk
goodness.
him through a lot of the speech and language stuff because I had done that training on the brain injury unit. So
I
you
got
just never
goosebumps.
know how all of those things are going to connect. It when I look back on that to this day, I'm like, I don't know how, because how did I randomly get in a psychiatric hospital on a brain injury training unit? I mean, I was a school teacher. Made no sense
Right.
why I would be there.
Right. Well, and so a quick note on that whole we think we're doing this thing alone in life, like we've got control over life. Like, when I finally had the epiphany that like God, universe, whatever people believe in, there is a higher power that is leading us to things, that is guiding us, that is like and when it's always the look back. Like when we look back,
Yeah,
like, oh, that's why, and so if you can remember, like if you can look back, piece it, and then remember now moving forward that with each thing that's going on in your life, it's happening for you. I actually just keep asking the questions now, like, okay, what am I learning from this? Where am I growing? Like what are the lessons I'm meant to get out of this? Like my 2024 was just the most adverse year of my life with my dad's dementia, my stepmom being sick and then passing away, and my stepdaughter and all that jazz. And it's like, now I know why. Like I knew
yeah,
why in the moment because of the work that we've done on like the self-development and all the groups I've been in, all the things I've done for myself in the past 6 years. I wouldn't have been able to handle that situation as well as I did. But I can see why this happened to this, to this, to this, to this, to get me where I am here and how I took care of that. And that's just, I love it. I geek out over
yeah,
this stuff, girl. I geek
yeah.
out.
But once you stop seeing everything in life is done to you
Yep.
and start saying everything in life has a purpose and what is the learning I'm supposed to get from this?
Hmm.
It's just a mindset shift. And it doesn't
Hmm.
mean that you're not dealing with bad stuff, but it's
Oh
a
yeah.
different way of looking at it, right? Rather than, oh, like kind of, oh, poor me, I'm the victim of this circumstance. Because once you're the victim of circumstance, you have no control over everything. It's like,
Hmm.
whatever, I'm just this leaf in the wind. But once you say, what am I supposed to learn? All of a sudden you got a bunch of control because now you got choices, and you've got
Hmm.
decisions you can make, and you've got
Hmm.
that opportunity to take that deep dive and see where you're changing. I'm right with you there, Jackie. Right with you on that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
I love that. Not the juicy nugget right there, but I'm still going to ask you the question at the end. So hold on. But before we do that, I want you to tell everybody, like, if they want to stay in your world or reach out to you on any of the topics that I mean, you have a vast, like, knowledge of so many areas, and more than I even realized. I knew, but now I know, and I love that. So thank you for sharing. How can they stay in your world, and what can they like, go explore, experience to be with you?
Best way is just go to the website. It's www.divorcecoach4women, and that's the number four, divorcecoach4women.com. That gives you the podcast, that gives you the books, that gives you resources. I'm up I'm up doing the website, so there's going to be a lot more resources and a blog and stuff on there. And from there, you can find me on the YouTube and just do whatever you want to do. I would love to have people come and just whatever I can do to help out. I'm here.
Yes, 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 yes. And all those links that she mentioned will be in the down below, and check out her books and all the good stuff. So if there's one thing out of everything we talked about today you want to make sure the audience leaves with today, what is it? What do you think it is?
I think it goes right back to what kind of your description of the I got it girl idea is that don't wait. Don't wait until you feel that you have no options before you reach out and just say, hey, I need some help. Because
Hmm.
people are there, they want to help you, they want to support you, and they want to see you succeed. Those good people in your life, but sometimes they don't know how to approach you, especially if you've always been somebody who has turned them down in the past. And I'm guilty of doing that. Nope, I got it. Nope, I got it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
just, when you need help, take advantage of the people in your life that love you and care about you because they really want to help you. They maybe just don't know how to do it.
I love that you brought up that point right there. Like people don't know necessarily how, so you've got to ask. And I know that all been raised. Most of us been raised with this like it's weakness if you need help or if blah blah blah. It is the strength of vulnerability is such a strength, and that's something I've learned big time over the last 6 years. that it's strength for you to ask, you know, and it's a gift for the other person. That's something
Yeah.
that I like realized in 2024, the joy I brought to people to be able to serve me and help me. Like, and I, back in the day, that joy, like I would serve somebody and I'd expect something back. If we don't make it transactional, it's joy. It's a gift and joy if we don't make like feel like we have to make it transactional.
Right.
So I'm gonna just add that on to what Marty said, is that allow yourself, ask people for help. When they give it to you, don't feel like it has to be a transaction that you have to give back. Allow yourself to receive that because it is such a gift for them to give the help that they want to give you. So, and I know we've been taught transactional most of our life too. So, all right. So thank you so much, because I know we could probably go on and on and on, but I try to keep these, 30 to 45 minutes, but who knows? I really don't care. Um, and I appreciate having you on my show. And
Oh, Jackie, thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here on your podcast, and this is going to be a podcast I'm definitely putting on my subscribe to list. So way to go.
yay, thank you. Are you proud of me, by the way? Because I'm like,
I
I finally
am.
took the
I
life.
I just think this is
Mhm.
fantastic, and I love the whole concept of it. Great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So those of you listening, don't forget to do the subscribe, follow, check out Marty. Her stuff is amazing. And she's such a delight to be with. And she's, what you see is what you get. Like there's no difference in anywhere else than you see her. And I will see you guys all on the next episode of the I Got It Girl podcast. Thank you so much.